Welcome to the freewheeling cavalcade of circular motion, thus defined by the octagon table of double-wide mental introspection and dedicated utilitarian outward thinking in defense of zero content. Translation: we ain't got nothing. Oh, hey folks, dude here, coming at you yet again, another iteration of Dude After Dark. Of course, I got to do one more simple little adjustment here. So let me just kind of mess around and monkey around just a little bit here with the settings. Obviously, I change one thing and everything else just kind of goes fakakta. So that's what's going on with that one. So let's just leave the settings are where they are right now, and I think we're good. Okay, nothing really too outrageously crazy. Hopefully, everything is not sound guys. No, it's not. It's not caca. Okay, stop it. It's not. It's not caca. Anyway, way shape and form, which I showed you guys basically in the thumbnail. I have been messing around with a vintage, well, maybe not that vintage, but newer iteration of a light bright unit. And I think I kind of have something that looks kind of cool. I still have to mess around with it a little bit. This one, unfortunately, times out. It is actually kind of cool in one regard. It does take 3 AA batteries as a power source. I got the kickstand open up. Also, it does have a secondary power port for a mini USB that then actually makes the the actual illumination brighter because it's 4.5 volts versus 5 volts. So it's that last little bit that makes it kind of spiff up and good stuff like that there. And I was messing around with the the pegs, the little guys that actually plug into this thing, the pegs. All right, that's going to get really annoying quick. So let me just do it steady on. And essentially what I did was I basically messed with this thing enough that I think I actually kind of a cool design. Druthers is, obviously it does time out. It runs for a while. I think it's like 5 minutes or something like that, maybe 10 minutes. Then it turns off. Now it's LED, so it's not like the thing is basically sucking down huge quantities of power, but it's enough that basically it goes, oh yeah, the kid's done playing with it. I'm going to turn off. Well, the button to access the on and off and the modes is right there. So, it's not hard. You basically can turn it on, go through all the various modes, kind of does the kind of cool stuff, does everything it needs to do. So that's actually a little annoying with the flash. So anyway, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to go into this thing, re-engineer it in such a way that I can actually do some secondary lighting or collateral lighting that doesn't time out. And technology being what it is, LEDs being as cheap as they are, literally you can find LEDs all over the place doing everything you need to do. I mean, case in point, just even basic flashlights have multiple modes of operation at this point. You basically turn them on and make them do their thing, and so it's not hard to find a flashlight or an LED source or something along those lines that's going to do something I needed to do without looking like sound guys. Seriously, stop that. Okay. Anyway, so looking at things as it is, now I basically got myself a mascot, as it were. Anyway, so let me go through the various modes, turn this guy off so it's not flashing my collateral, and it's now a work in progress. Excuse me. Still have a little bit of the cough carrying on, from bygone yumminess and good days from, good days sick past. Anyway, so looking at stuff like that there, Martina Sasquatch in the room. A ribbon light or two would be perfect for that. Oh, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, dude. Basically, you have like those things that are like, you string them all over the place. And then if you don't want them as long, you simply just snip them off because they're wired in parallel. Yeah, good stuff like that there. So anyway, looking also on the other secondary projects, I've been wanting one of these as a beater upper that I'm not going to cry about because I'm not going to take the pristine one out of the box and play with it anytime soon. Probably there's going to be a knife blog video going on about this one, and I'll take out the really, really nice one and potentially show off what one looks like after it has some, miles put on the clock, as it were. So this one being a Fairborn Applegate Gerber liner lock. I took it completely apart, cleaned it up as much as I could. it's a little rattly now because it's got some age on it. The steel on it is not the best steel. It's only 420, so it's actually a little soft. That said, it's actually very, very easy to put a point and a sharpness back into the thing. So that's literally what I did. Bored around, sitting one day, took the thing out. Okay, literally, I take the thing out of the package and I'm like, it needs attention. So next thing you know, I'm basically working on it and doing everything I need to do to make it look a pop fly out the center field. Okay, no, I'm making it look good. Okay, stop. Anyway, so weight, shape, and form, which we find ourselves, it's going to look better than the previous kind of
Fatality.
It's not fatality sound guy. It looked kind of it didn't look good. No, sound guy. Okay, it didn't look good. So anyway, I took it out of the package and I'm looking at it. There was some rust spots. The edges were. Are you done? Anyway, so way, shape, and form, pulled it out of the box. There's a little bit of rust spots on it, which, for stainless is like dead easy. You grab some stainless steel wool or you grab some steel wool. Quick little it's right off of there. The finish on these guys is actually a bead blast. So that's a little bit hard to replicate. The serrations on this thing are still surprisingly sharp. So apparently they weren't messing with the serrations. They just proceeded to use the point to do whatever, and it was quite dull. Now it's actually it's not like it's not sharp, but it's not dull either. Okay, it's not like shaving sharp, but it's about as good as you're gonna get with 420C or 420HC, like Patriot Fever just said in the room. Easy to sharpen and tough. And when I break it, don't cry like sound guy when one of the mics can't be heard. Oh no! When one of his mics can't be retrieved. Oh, what do you think he stuck that microphone? Sound guy, you do not stick the microphone. Hang on a second here. There's a backup microphone that's in the studio. It does not smell pristine. It doesn't look. This is going to get sanitized. Sound guy, sanitize this microphone, please. That is just Oh, I think I know why it doesn't smell pristine. He was going for soundtrack, had it in the other room, and was proceeding to eat Taco Bell. And oh, yes. I think that microphone was a target area for. Yes. Sound guy. Really? Okay, where did we get the soundtrack from? The southbound end of a northbound sound guy. Anyway, I gotta quit feeding him refried beans, dude. No, it's what that engineer, and I'm using the phrase most kindly. It's what that engineer feeds himself. He's not a spring chicken anymore, but he still eats like a college student. Sound guy, seriously, dude. He's going to run through every single
fatality.
I think that last one is why that microphone smells like that. Yeah. Well, anyway, so coming up with the mascot version of the Light Bright and playing with a classic, really not cheap anymore. I really find it truly annoying. I mean, like I go in the actual archives, dude dude pile of knives, and I see what I actually paid for this thing back in the day. Oh, my stars and garters. I wish the hell I had more money back then. I would have cleaned house and I'd be making bank now. Just give me 1 second here. Anyway, so way, shape, and form in which we find ourselves, I'm still pulling stuff out of the ethers and playing with goodness. Good stuff like that there. And, it's, all kinds of goodness. And would you say Patriot Fever as long as they're not Harris?
Come on, squeal. Don't want to come.
I think you do. I don't even want to know how he happened by that copy. Yuck. Just yuck. Scroll. Scroll. Hang on a sec. I got scads of news stories that I'm kind of trying to get into, but not trying to forget. But yeah. Let me see if I can't make something happen here. Scrolly. I got so many memes that I've been throwing up on Facebook. Still got the cough too. It's a little annoying sometimes. There is some hilarious memes out there. I don't know if you guys heard about this one or not, but supposedly the guys in Yale University were holding a hunger strike, and the young Republicans decided they were going to host a barbecue right beside them. Man, I cannot do it justice. That is just beyond hilarious. Give me a second here. I got stuff falling. And the thing about it is every time these guys do these kind of screaming rah-rah sessions where obviously, it's pretty emblematic when you look at any of the pictures and everybody is using the same style, color, everything, size of tent. That's not organic, folks, okay? That's definitely like somebody politically stirring the pot going, hey, if you kids do this, that, and the other thing, and blah, 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 blah. And the other thing, too, is also I've heard like 65% of the people being arrested are not even students at the places where these air quotes protests are taking place. So I find it really interesting that supposedly it's an organic thing. These guys really, truly are so put upon by, the Israelis denying the humanity of the Palestinians. Yeah. That's really kind of truly annoying there because obviously we can see it for what it is. And it is not something just, growing out of the ethers as an organic enterprise. It is actually a politically motivated and funded attention grabbing, hey, look at us type of thing, because, we're now trying to put something on place and trying to switch things around during an election season. And yes, I did actually go out and vote earlier. I am a registered Democrat in the state of Maryland, mostly because Republicans can't do a damn thing worthy. And I go in there as a Democrat, primarily and main election, to stir the pot and really throw some poop into the water and really make it interesting. Now, the people that I do associate myself with my vote, and I'm using that very air quote loosely, people with my vote in the primary season, I'm playing Operation Chaos as much as I can. And the weather today was nothing short of just yuck. I mean, it was just rainy, gloomy, nasty, just blech. There was nothing really great about it. So I would tend to think that diminished turnout. I don't know what the mail-in voter or the those guys who basically do like the I'm sick at home, send me a card so I can vote type of guys. I don't know what that turnout is going to be, but I can tell you for a fact the place where I went was pretty much bloody damn deserted. There wasn't even like some people outside playing, hey, vote for my guy. There was only like one person outside in a chair holding up an umbrella, handing out little flyers going, here's all the circuit judges, sir. And I'm like, I'm good. I was literally the only person I really truly encountered doing any politicking. Just give me 1 second here. Now, the thing about it is also election-wise, if it's crappy weather, that means things. And you can actually hear, like, in the news reports and whatnot, they were going on and on about, like, how much it had been detuned for Trump and how great it had been for, Joe Kaka because the weather had been bad. There was still people showing for the vote, even in horrendously bad Midwest weather conditions. So anyway, along those lines, we find ourselves, still stuck firmly in the fundament of the politicking and the media trying to drum up all as much major support as they possibly can for their guy, Joe Kaka, because everybody can see for what it is, what it was like almost four some odd years ago, how things were to how things are, and how much things suck nowadays. Because, oh yeah, their guy didn't do it for them, but the previous guy did. The other thing too is also encountering man on the street type of people. Obviously, I reside in Baltimore City, primarily like 70% African American, and most of those guys are like, yeah, end of the day, you gotta use the phrasing here. End of the day, I was making money under Trump. Right now, I'm barely making ends meet. So those guys see it for what it is. They see the reality of what happens when you support the wrong guy. And I tend to think right now it's not going to work out very charitably for the Democrats to go, oh, yeah, you should be, kowtowing to our guy like you always do because we're so nice to you. Every 4 years, we say how great we are to you. And then we probably forget about you in the inner city, but you still should support us because the Republicans are icky. Yeah. Yeah. I think that the African American community is now seeing it for what it is. And they are saying, you know what? We might not be able to swallow the whole elephant, but we're getting tired of sucking on the donkey. Let's see. Looking in the room. Let sound guy get a FLIR camera. Oh no. Knowing him, he'll probably be walking around a mall trying to catch people farting. That's probably exactly what he'll do. It's like, the audio effects are cool, but I want to see people walking around and honking out, butt farts. Stop. Yeah, you're gonna be walking around with a FLIR camera going, let's see the little clouds coming out the boo-boos. Sound guys. You know what? I think his favorite form of, toxic gaseous emissions are probably human flatulation. I really, truly do. Anyway, are you trying to talk like that, sound guy? I think that was yes. Oh, yuck. Just yuck. Looking in the room, Patriot Fever is explaining the fact that living in his area of residence, you now have to carry an FOID card for a weapon longer than 3 inches. Wow. 3 pounds of bacon now costs $25. No one have a brain is going to vote for Bobo. Well, dude, 3 pounds of bacon's like what? Only 2.5 sandwiches? I mean, come on. Is that a high capacity blade? Sir, is that a butter knife? Oh man. Is it a sharpened blade? It is kind of funny though. Like, you get down to like the way the Australians tend to do things. They tend to go really stupid along the lines of adopting like the worst possible policies of like, the UK, the United States, any socialist dogma driven area of which the world, has domination. So they said in Australia, you can't have basically, you can't have a double-edged blade. So literally in their survival kit for the pilots of their Air Force, they used to have a small double-edged blade. It's called a Lira. And it looks basically like a little stubby double-edged dagger. Well, that fit perfectly. Could be a spare point. You have 2 edges if one gets dull. So what did they have to do to rethink the wheel? They're like, yeah, we still want to have 2 edges. They came up with a Tonto knife. So you have the primary point as one edge, and then you have the main edge as the second edge. But even for their pilots in their survival kits, they wouldn't allow a double-edged blade because, oh yeah, that's too naughty, too snarky, can't have that, it's too evil. But they were trying to keep something that was small, easy, convenient, and fit perfectly into their survival kits. Did not want to have something along the lines of like a big honking, curved standard point blade because it's just too much mass. Is a Gerber Parabellum too much mass? No, it's it's a good sticker. It's one of my faves. I rather like this knife. It's just a good fit, and it works. You know what? I'll keep both Gerbers out. There we go. Yep. Both Gerbers out. Oh, wait a minute. And okay, I wasn't really trying to completely turn this into a knife video, but sure. Another Gerber. Oh. Yeah. I seem to be experiencing a small population explosion of more Gerbers. Thing about it is some of these guys that are, basically like garage queens, they're getting kind of cheap. You can use them as parts pieces, or obviously, if they're halfway decent, they're, still usable. I mean, there's nothing really truly wrong with them. And the thing that kind of sucks is, unfortunately for Gerber, they had good metal that they started with, and then they degraded down to metal. Still decent designs, but just execution. You know what? I'm going to leave all these guys out here just for the hell of it. Good to go. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I probably should bring out somebody from the other side of the ocean. Yep. So we'll have to take out Mr. Spitico. Mr. Spitico Police. Yep. Now this guy is actually a ATS 34. There's 35. Need my reading glasses. ATS 35, I think it is. Hang on a second here. I'm going to keep myself honest. Literally just had my eyes looked at earlier, so that, I might be still slightly dilated. ATS 55, brain fart. So ATS 55, this guy is obviously a Seki City, so it is old school. It is the stamped police. Yes, it is the stamped police. It's not the electro etched version, which is the current one. And thing about it is, this one's actually a little hard to snap open. I mean, you could do it, but it doesn't really like it. The lock doesn't quite engage. It's a little bit too. But opening it with your thumb, of course, you have that 12 millimeter hole there, so that works just fine. AUS 35. No. This one's ATS 55. This one's old. You see, it also only has the belt hanger on the top. It doesn't have the holes on the bottom and the top. This one has to ride point down in your pocket. This one's first gen. Like old school guy. Also you can see it has like, the old style deep serrations. It's not 50-50. It is full serrations with like the last 10 millimeters or something like that being like, a standard blade edge. Yeah. First gen. The kid don't play. Patriot Fever in the room says he's been thinking about getting a bird, so the BYRD version of Spyderco. There's two things about those you have to know. Obviously, if you look at a bird versus a true Spyderco, the bird has a slot, so it's not just a thumb hole. It is a thumb hole with a slot, so it kind of almost looks like a bird eye. And the reason why they did that is they're differentiating it as a bird. The other thing, too, is also you're getting the Chinese equivalents to AUS 8, AUS 6, or one of the other secondarily okay blade steels, but it is a Chinese manufactured Spyderco. I don't even know if they still have association with them at this point. They did do it for a number of years, and they were the Spyderco birds. There is one version of those I would really, truly like to get, and it's called the Flatbird. And that is the Chinese Spyderco equivalent of the Spyderco Spyder Card, of which I have several. One's been rotting in my wallet forever, and it is basically, I'll just pull up a real quick picture and show you guys real fast. Keep myself honest here. Let's see if I can't find a picture of it real fast here. Okay, all right, that works too. All right, so I can show you guys the difference betwixt and between the two. Okay, so this one being a, hang on a sec, my brightness is up there again. This thing is really sensitive about that. Okay, so this one being a flat bird. See the little hole right there? You actually push through the scales and the releases on the far side. But the actual wallet or previous iteration, which was Edward Burashansky, I think is his name. Let's see. Yes. This is the difference. So this one being the one right there. And you can see that the difference is, of course, obviously the hole right off the bat is round. It is not the bird eye. And the thing about it is obviously one was made in China, one was made in Japan. And the other thing, too, is also designed and devised by an Israeli by the name of Urard Barashansky. So if you look at his namesake on his blades, it's like there's a line down the middle, and there's like basically like a B, and there's like an E, and it's literally like two W's kind of pointing their points at each other. And that's the way he differentiated himself. Now, the thing about it is, it's completely ironic, was he was killed in a terrorist strike in Israel. How did they identify the body? He was carrying one of his knife designs with him at the time. And they're like, oh, yeah, this knife isn't even out yet. This is definitely Urard. This is definitely him. So essentially what it is the irony is, dude was identified by something that only he would have. Now, like I said, I got a number of these wallet knives. I've been carrying one of them in my wallet for blanking forever. And it has done nothing but survive, the rigors of being in my pocket. It's actually almost flown with me a couple times, accidentally going through the TSA. It always goes in my check bag, if that's the case, or it gets left at home where I know it is safe, because I don't want to give this thing up to the TSA for them to go, yeah, there's a really nice knife, but it's going to go in the trash. And in that trash can, I guarantee you, is zero trash. But at the end of the day, I'm sure that TSA guy reaches in there, grabs that bag of air quotes trash, and proceeds to take it out the front door going, yeah, I'll take care of this for you. Yeah. I actually had occasion like that. I was flying back from Florida, I think it was. And the guy goes, yeah, you got to, or actually, was I flying down? No, I flew down to Florida and I was coming back. And they're like, yeah, you got a Leatherman in your knapsack. And I was like, I got a Leatherman, but no, it's not in there. And they're like, no, it's in there. I was like, let me see your x-ray. So I went around the other side, looked at the display, and it was in there. So I took apart the knapsack, and it was squirreled in like some deep crevice. So I did actually have it in there. Crazy part is I flew through BWI, went down to Florida, and then coming back, they're like, no, you can't fly with this, dude. So at that point, I was like, okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'll take care of this. The guy goes, yeah, you can throw it in that trash can right there. And I said, He's like, what do you mean, I said, There's a mail kiosk outside. I'll take it out of the security area. I'll mail it home to myself. No muss, no fuss. And the guy goes, oh, yeah, you can do that too. Because he was probably counting on the fact that I would just pitch in the trash can. He'd get a crack at it later. Well, case in point, went up to mail kiosk, threw it in an envelope, basically, bundled it all up, over postage the snot out of it, sent it home to myself, got back to the place, went right past the line of people, and the chick's like, nah, you got to go through the line. It's like, I've already been cleared. I just had to mail something. So she got back in, everybody else saying, hey, what's up with that guy? Why can't he go? It's like, oh, I'm already clear. Bye. Got up to dude, went up to him. Hi, how you doing? See ya. Nothing but love. Got on the plane and flew. Got home 2 days later, my knife came back to me. So recommended, they say, in the knife magazines of which is really hard to find a magazine at this point, but recommended in the knife magazines, they will say it would behoove you to have one of those padded envelopes with your home address on board, and you just scribble some return address on there real fast. And you basically have the thing over postaged to, like, hell and back. So if they go, hey, you got a knife on board, it's like, yeah, okay, where's the nearest mailbox? And the guy will go, oh, well, there's a mailbox out, blah, blah, blah. All right, I'll be right back. You throw your knife in there, seal it up, mail it home to yourself. Don't let these guys keep your kit. Speaking of kit, there's something else I've had. All right, I'll play with this one too. For some reason, I've been going through eBay and I've been terrorizing it, just kind of doing this recreation of like one of the surplus stores I remember years and years ago. And obviously that surplus chain, it's gone. It's been gone for a long time now. And but I remember like one of their display cabinets literally was like mostly like quality knives, and there was the good quality knives. Well, I already got the good quality knives. As a matter of fact, I've got to the point where I have duplicates and possibly some instances triplicates. I don't need to get any more of those. I got plenty of those to carry me through. So I've been kind of crossing over and going into like lesser brands, but still kind of cool stuff. Like, case in point, I've been going through and I've been snapping up the this one being a Fury, I believe. Like, the Fury knives or the Valor knives. And this one is actually surprisingly capable. I mean, I don't know what the steel is on it. It's actually a little thin, but it's obviously, modeled after a USMC K-bar. The handle is basically some kind of vinyl, or it's almost squishy. But I gotta tell you, man, the serrations on this thing, they're pretty on point. I mean, literally, pretty much seriously on point. So this thing could actually be a seriously good cutter. The sheath, the sheath is kind of almost laughable because you can see it's like, like ABS plastic in the back, and they're trying to say it's like, Zytel or something like that in the front, but it's just snappy enough to go, hi, I'm keeping your knife on board, but it's really rattly. Now on top, what they did was they put a ring, like almost like a scuba style securing ring of like, kind of like a stretchy O-ring style kind of guy. And once that's on there, it's on there, it's on like Donkey Kong. It's not going anyplace. But the sheath itself, it's nothing but like sharp edges. The fit and finish on it is kind of but it is all riveted all around its periphery. So it's not breaking anytime soon. But the lockup that they put on this thing, it's all plastic, and it's some of the stuff they did. It's actually kind of humorous the way that they did the execution. You could snap this on your belt. Oh, cool. Okay, yeah, great. But then they gave it like another belt loop. Some of the stuff they did in the iteration of this thing is just really, really humorous. So I thought it was kind of cool to have this guy. I still have like behind the flag there, I have another knife case I have yet to employ. That one being, I think it's another. Well, let me keep myself honest here. I'll be right back. I'm going to take this another opportunity. Look, it's another Gerber case. So it's another Gerber countertop knife case, and that guy's also going to be employed. I'm probably going to be utilizing it firstly when I do the Otakon show in Washington, D.C., simply because obviously trying to keep track of all those knives and all those people. Sometimes it's just going to be easier to say, okay, which knife are you talking about? Oh, I'm looking at number XYZ. Oh, okay, number XYZ. Then you simply just reach in the box, pick that up. You got the price of the box already. Okay, that's going to be blah, 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 for, you purchase one of these that you see in that case. So in terms of the organization of all that stuff, it's just going to be a lot easier just to do it like that. The double belt clip sounds like something they ripped off of an M9 Mark III. Well, the thing about the M9 is you got to remember it's gone through how many generations of load bearing equipment. First it went through LBEs, which is what they had when I was in the Marine Corps. Then they went to, kind of sort of almost moly. Then they went to true moly. Then finally they went to plate carriers. And then finally they now have this next generation fighter stuff, which is really kind of almost like rethinking moly and kind of almost going back to, oh yeah, LBE yet again. Okay, there's a reason why the LBE equipment carrier was good. Number one, it was light. You weren't carrying 40 pounds of battle rattle just to carry 3 or 4 things on your body. Oh, yeah, well, you need the plate carrier. Dude, a plate carrier doesn't need to weigh 35 pounds. The plate itself is not light. They load these guys down with so much additional accessory, just ridiculous battle rattle that these guys are loaded down, trying to drag all this stuff around and wearing themselves out. When simply put, the bad guys don't. They try to travel as light as possible because they know they're going to be in it to win it. And it's going to be a bad time in the city if they got to drag around additional weight that's not going to do anything for them on the off chance that they may or may not get swacked. And if they do get swacked, well, they're trying for the cause anyway, so it's all good. Excuse me 1 second here. Wasn't truly intended to turn this into a knife show, but I got him. I mean, it's a show off. Scrolly. Hang on a second. Let me find something notable here, which to speak on. I already spoke on that. All the May the 4th be with you crap. Done. This one I find to be very, very interesting. I don't know if you guys heard about this one or not, but coming in from truthpress.com, Jack Smith is now admitting to the fact that, well, he may have been tampering with some of the evidence. Yes, that's right. Jack Smith is now admitting to evidence tampering in the Trump classified documents case. Did we tell you or did we not tell you? Yeah. So Smith misled the court after originally telling U.S. District Judge Aline Cannon the boxes remain, quote unquote, in their original intact form as seized, end quote. When in a footnote, they conceded that they'd removed classified documents and left placeholder sheets, which prosecutors acknowledged, which created an inconsistent record, and in which some of the documents are no longer in the same order in which they appeared in the digital scans made in fall of 2022. Quote, the government acknowledges this is inconsistent with the government counsel previously understood and represented to the court. The footnote reads, according to Just the News. The finding comes after Cannon order a review into whether the FBI may have seized legally privileged records in response to a request from Trump co-defendant Walt Nauta. Since the boxes were seized and stored, appropriate personnel had access to the boxes for several reasons, including to comply with the orders issued by the court in civil proceedings noted above for investigative purposes and to facilitate the defendant's review of the boxes. Quote, there are some boxes where the order of items within the box is not the same as in the associated scans. So, did they change the timeline on these things just to consider the process? Possibly. Possibly they messed with the things, they monkeyed around, so somebody might have looked a little bit more suspicious. Scroll. The Smiths team tried to downplay the problem and argued it's not a reason for a delay in Trump's case, but several legal experts just told Just the News the court filing essentially is an admission of evidence tampering and could be problematic. Prosecutors and investigators should never tamper with or alter evidence in the possession, including order documents in the box, because no one never knows what might become relevant or crucial to the court or a jury later in the case, Alan Dershowitz told Just the News. So, quote, this admission is stunning on multiple levels, the defense attorney Tim Palatori, who worked with Trump's team earlier in the classified documents case, but is no longer involved, adding that the relevance, quote, reinforces the incompetence of the prosecutors and in conducting a basic criminal investigation and prosecutions that he observed when he was on the team. Quote, But at a deeper level, the loss of specific document locations is a destruction of exculpatory evidence, Palatori added. I went through all the boxes in NARA and the document order. That was important because it was clear to us the boxes have been untouched since leaving the White House. For prosecutors to try to prove the defendants knowingly possess these documents and then destroy the evidence would undermine that claim is a very serious violation. In response to the filing, Trump said on Truth Social that Deranged Jack has admitted to filing in front of Judge Cannon to what I've been saying happened since the illegal raid on my home, that he and his team committed blatant evidence tampering by mishandling the very boxes they used as a pretext to bring this false case. Oops. 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 Like major, big time, flaming oops. The only good thing that Jack did was say, uh-oh, I have an issue. Yes, you have an issue. The issue is that you're jiggering the paperwork to make somebody do something they didn't do after the fact. That is the problem. I might have spoke on this one. Let me see. I want to put something in there that obviously, you guys hadn't heard before. Oh. Okay, yeah, I don't know if I got to this one or not. This one's kind of choice here. I don't know if you guys heard about this one or not, but they've been going on and on about how great it is for Impossible Burgers and all this plant-based stuff. It's so good for you because it's not meat. Well, coming in from Newsmax.com, that's right, it might not be so healthy for you. So, new study out this week determined that eating plant-based meat is no healthier for your heart than enjoying real meat. This finding isn't a surprise to Chauncey Crandall, MD, one of America's most famed cardiologists. Quote, we call that fake meat. This plant-based meat is manipulated, said Dr. Crandall, the New York Times bestselling author and director of preventive medicine at the Palm Beach Cardiovascular Clinic in Florida. Now, let me tell you a little something about Palm Beach. Palm Beach is the area in Florida where you literally could say, like when, Rush Limbaugh used to refer to as God's waiting room. That's Palm Beach. There are so many old guys who emigrated from like up north, came down south, and decided that they were tired of going back and forth and said, you know what? We're staying here. This is all right. It's not bad. It's okay enough. We're good. And the other thing, too, is also it's the east coast of Florida. Most of the time you have hurricanes, they go along the west coast, and they go into the Gulf. Then they go north. Then they tear ass in, well, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, Kansas. Okay, so all those other guys, it basically goes along the west edge of Florida and then decides to hook a Larry and goes north yet again. The east coast of Florida rarely gets hit with a hurricane. Most of the time, it's mostly, tropical storms. Sometimes, high winds, but nothing like what the Gulf Coast gets. The Gulf Coast gets rousted, regularly rousted. Anyway, so this guy also is working with aged patients, so he probably has seen a few things. Patriot Fever, plant-based hot dogs at Aldi's. Oh. Yeah. No. There's nothing good in that entire sentence. Plant-based hot dogs. No, there's literally nothing good in that sentence at all. None of it. None, nada. 9 nicked verboten. 9. No more. Yeah. Martina Sasquatch. This makes me feel better about eating 8 strips of bacon tonight. Well, so you should. Because we all know when you eat pork fat, it lowers your bad cholesterol. Because, oh yeah, pork fat is actually good for you. Yeah. they've been trying to say for years, oh, butter and milk and cheese and all these things are horrible for you. Why? Because, your LDL is high, your HDL is high, your cholesterol is high. It's like, what kind of cholesterol are you saying is bad? Because there's distinctly several kinds of cholesterol. And oh, yeah, your heart actually needs those lipids in which to eat. Okay. 10,000 years ago, we weren't walking around going, oh, yeah, let me get that plant-based burger. And, oh, I want to have some good safflower, sunflower, and soy oil. Cottonseed oil. All that stuff was not stuff that we were eating. Olive oil and butter, yeah. To some degrees, yeah. If nothing else, we're, probably grabbing the whole cow and juicing it. But anyway, that kind of stuff we've been eating forever. We're basically made to do that. We're not made to take some partially hydrogenated dreck that came out of a laboratory in the last 100 some odd years and go, oh, that's just the same thing as butter. No. In my household, olive oil and butter, that's it. That's all I mess with. I do not even think about cooking with anything but those two oils. And I do mean oil as in using butter as the oil. Ghee. Ghee is good stuff. So for the study published by the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, participants aged 30 to 70 ate a fixed amount of beef, pork, or chicken breast and an assortment of plant-based meat analogs, or PBMAs, from Impossible Food, Beyond Meat, and other manufacturers. Okay, why is it they're saying that these things are from manufacturers? Yeah. There's only one manufacturer I want to know. It's the farmer basically grew the thing and they took it out, they whacked it, and they basically turned it into a steak. That's all I want to know about, okay? So after 8 weeks, changes in the cholesterol and triglyceride levels were similar in both groups. In addition, meat eaters had better blood glucose and blood pressure management than those who ate the PBMAs. The scientists concluded that substituting animal-based meat with plant-based meatless products did not benefit cardiovascular health. Crandall does not recommend eating plant-based meat. Quote, it has additives, different processing agents, different flavor agents. Crandall's the author of the Simple Heart Cure Diet and Meal Plan, which contains 28 days of healthy meals and more than 100 easy, delicious recipes. The Yale-trained heart surgeon is also the editor of the popular Dr. Crandall's Heart Health Report. What I recommend to people with underlying heart disease is to focus more on a Mediterranean diet. Been saying that, guys. A plant-based diet. Well, not about that one, man. I want meat. The Mediterranean diet emphasizes fruit, vegetables, beans, lentils, and nuts, and healthy fats from extra virgin olive oil and fish rich in omega-3 fatty acids. Diet that limits or cuts red meat, choosing poultry, fish, or legumes instead. Also calls for little or no sweets, sugary drinks, or butter. Dude, I'm not giving up butter, okay? I'm not giving up meat. You can do that, all right? There's Italians running around, and those guys smoke like a diesel with bad injectors, and their cholesterol's through the roof. They live to old ages. And there's a reason why. It's because they're drinking tons of red wine, eating scads of olive oil, and also the stuff is like right there, fresh. Not like some manufactured lab experiment. They're doing just fine. Scrolly. Scroll. I got this one thing that's kind of been bugging me a little bit. I've been hearing about this, and it's a basic radiation issue. Now, anytime you see me utilizing a phone, most times I'm using the speaker. I'm not talking directly to the phone going, so how you doing? Blah, 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 blah. All this, 200 milliwatts cooking through my brain and everything. I don't do that. There's always like a standoff, at least a foot away from me. Now, the thing about it is you have that square of, distance versus wavelength versus strength. So there's the inverse square of distance, reducing the strength level of the actual device that's cooking you. Well, if you think about it, what's an EV? Oh, yeah. It's a microwave on wheels. Stand by on that one. So there's now a study, and it's a complex study, mind you. But there's now a study. Hang on a second. Let me find the appropriate link here. From the National Library of Medicine, NIH, so National Institutes of Health. And so they say that there is a complex electromagnetic issue associated with the use of electric vehicles in urban transportation. Oops. Well, the thing about it is they're now talking about, of all things, is the electromagnetic field, or the EMF, in electric vehicles, EVs, would affect not only drivers, but also passengers using EVs daily and the electronic devices inside. Now, that's something else, too, is my car, Mrs. Dude's car, they're both modern enough. They got Bluetooth. So you basically set your phone down, or your phone could be anywhere in the car, and it's now talking to the car, and the car is saying, okay, you got a phone call. Do you want to answer this through the phone, or you want to answer it through the radio? Well, there's a reason why I'm still rocking a Note 9. That right there. It still has a headphone jack. I don't have to find a little dongle and all the rest of this happy horse stuff. I don't utilize Bluetooth in my car. I got enough stuff going on anyway because, I have my phone at arm's length running Uber. So it's now 4G. It's running location. So that's multiple wavelengths that it's utilizing, broadcasting, listening, talking to, all the rest of this happy horse stuff. That's enough. Okay. But it's at arm's length. It's not right beside me. It's at arm's length. And I'm putting it there because I don't want it right beside me cooking me. If I'm doing this X amount of hours per day, I want to knock that down as much as possible for risk levels. But these guys riding around in the EVs, potentially probably still, beep, beep, boop, beep, beep, beep on their phone and everything, they potentially could be microwaving themselves in slow doses constantly. So they say, the article summarizes a measurement method applicable to studies of complex EMF in EVs focused on the evaluation of characteristics of such exposure in EV users and drivers, together with a result of investigations into static magnetic field, the extremely low frequency magnetic field, or the ELF, and EMF radio frequency, or RF EMF, related to the use of EV in urban transportation. The investigated EMF components comply separately with limits provided by the International Labor Law and guidelines regarding the evaluation of human short-term exposure. However, other issues need attention. Electromagnetic immunity of electronic devices and long-term human exposure. The stronger EMF was found in the vicinity of direct current charging installations. So the SMF of up to 0.2 MT. So I think that's mega telses. So basically or micro telses, and the ELF magnetic fields up to 100 UT, whatever that is. I forget that phrase. And inside the EVs up to 30, that whatever it is, UT, close to the internal electrical equipment. Exposure to RF EMF inside the EV up to a few V per meter was found and recognized to be emitted from the outdoor radio communication systems, together with emissions from sources used inside vehicles, such as passenger mobile communication handsets and antennas of Wi-Fi routers. Yeah, folks, you'll be riding this thing and just, getting more than a little bit, just a little bit. Oh, okay. It's a nice car, man. That thing drives great. Oh, it really drives great. I don't feel so good. Yeah, so potentially you're driving this thing and Anyway, so you're riding in this thing, and it's basically cooking you slowly. Steak therapy, range therapy, both good for the heart. Okay, that's cute. I don't know about the mammoth, dude. That's kind of gross. Patriot fever in the room there. But yeah, cooking over animal dung, that is something they do still to this day. But I don't know if they were basting it in no. But a T-Rex drumstick. That has possible potential. You've been watching too much Flintstones, dude. That's the problem. You've been watching too much of the Flintstones. So anyway, they're looking at electric vehicles and technical infrastructure for ecological and economic reasons. Electrical traction vehicles, ETVs, so trans, metro, trolleys, and railway commuter trains are important methods of public transportation in urban areas. And for intercity connections, the ETVs are powered by stationary source of electricity, direct current, DC, or alternating current, electric traction installation, and are directly connected to the vehicles through wires. Technological developments make it possible to use electric energy far from the electrical traction lines in motor vehicles and passenger cars, e.g. taxis form of public transportation, but are also private vehicles, and buses, e-mobility technology, in various configurations of driving and flying systems. So they say basically a hybrid electric vehicle, HEV type of hybrid vehicle, combines conventional internal combustion, electric propulsion, or a plug-in hybrid, or a plug-in electric, or a fuel cell. Forecasts indicate further development of these types of motor vehicles and increase in their contribution to public transport. For example, in Europe 2019, around 2,300 electric buses were used. Forecasts for 2025 indicate a tenfold increase. That is in Europe. And that works in Europe. That does not work in the United States for a very simple, stupid reason. We're not bitty, okay? Europeans come here and they're like, oh, this America is so big. Yeah, well, dude, once you go to different states, you realize each of our states is roughly bigger than a lot of your countries. You guys seem to think that you come here and I don't know why you're playing that sound guy. Well, anyway, they come here. Is that supposed to be some kind of nod to Europe or something? I have no idea what you were doing there, sound guy. But anyway, so yeah, Nokia being from Sweden, I think it is, or some such. But anyway, so they come here and they're like, oh, you don't have enough trains. You'll have all the cars. All you'll use is cars. Dude, there's a reason why we use cars, okay? It's because not every American wants to wait around for a train to go, X amount of distance when you simply just get in a car and do it on your own time. Completely different thinking. So scrolly. Yeah, I mean, just you get in these things and you're getting positively, you're getting, yeah, you're getting cut. Okay, well, you get into them and potentially you're getting cooked. Okay, that's just wrong kind of technology, sound guy. It's electromagnetic radiation. Okay, not uranium style radiation, okay? Anyway, so basically you get in a car and you're driving. Oh, this is like the anticipation of trying to get back out because now you're worried about getting cooked. Anyway, so you're trying not to get cooked. He's on a roll, folks. He really is. Tail end of being sick, so I'm still got I still hack him a little bit here, but anyway, excuse me. Anyway, so what's going on now is basically we have reached, I think, the end of our stuff here. Let me look in the room real fast, see if you guys throw anything at me. Yes, pork fat should always be in hot dogs. Always. Actually, that makes it more of a knockwurst, but yeah, absolutely. Uncle Ted was right. Oh yeah, Nuge, the Nuge. Yep. Martina, Sasquatch, Jurassic Park 3. No, you can't have Jurassic Park 3 if you're eating all the animals. I'm sorry. That's not how that works. If you've eaten the animals, there is no more Jurassic Park, okay? That's just done. Anyway. Oh, music. All right, you guys hung out with me on a Tuesday. You get a gold star for attendance. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me so much. You know you got many other things to do, but you guys decided to hang out with me, and I truly appreciate your kind attentions. Good stuff like that there. Let me fire up the old mascot real quick here. Yay! Fire up the mascot. All right, so anyway, I've got to do more on this. I literally bought more pegs. God, like another 1,260. I can definitely flesh out something really cool with that one. So I'm going to break up this one, folks. Eat good, keep your rings. Always, you know you love it. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. You get a gold star for it. Good stuff like that there. I will see you next week, and I will catch you guys then. Have a good one. See you guys later, and good stuff like that there. See you guys. First.